Carmen. Carmen was God. Her dark skin shone over her dominion like the radiant sun. If you listen closely, you can hear the angels sing her praises. With flames in their hearts they chant, "Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven." Carmen was God, and I was Carmen's greatest disciple. Carmen found me in the harsh desert of my misery. I had just come back to campus in the height of COVID, just 1 year after my psychiatric hospitalization. Fresh out of the bonds of my mandated healing, I was plunged into the frigid hell that was the pandemic. In turn, I was supposed to suppress my nihilism and dwindling will to live and brace myself for unprecedented times. I felt like a prodigal son, cast out of my kingdom to wander aimlessly. I was dying out there, and I was just waiting to build the courage to just end my own suffering. When I needed her the most, Carmen was the rain. Every moment in our friendship, I was painfully aware that I was communing with the divine. Her spirit was a lightning in the cloud, and she lit up the dark sky of my melancholy. When she looked me in my eyes, I cowered at her cold and calculating visage. But soon, she softened her gaze and wept with me. As the floodgates opened, she held me, releasing all my misery. When my suffering was satiated, she parted the sky, revealing a rainbow. She promised that she'll always be there for me. She promised to love me. She was my savior, sent from God. For my salvation, I owe her nothing less than my entire life. On a cool February night, Carmen requested me to come see her. It was a birthday of our mutual friends, and we need to band together with our other friends to celebrate. As a disciple, I scurried around my room, soon to follow my teacher. In her benevolence, Carmen treated us to a glorious feast of tamarind vodka and tequila. She would tip the bottles of liqueur, like communion, into our mouths until our mouths couldn't physically hold anymore. Once the first shot was swallowed, she poured more liquor into our mouths. She insisted that we kept drinking until we saw double the stars in the sky. After hours of this innocent hedonism, our night came to a close. The winter winds chilled us to our bones, and the fire in our drinks waned, no longer able to keep our bodies warm. I was ready to head to my bed and await the morning hangover. However, Carmen's demeanor at this time shifted. I've always known her to be quite brazen, but this fervor was unfamiliar, uncomfortable. A light burned brightly behind those discerning eyes, but I didn't know where the light came from. Even stranger, it was directed towards me. Carmen, in a half-drunken stupor, saunters in my direction. Her eyes gaze up and down my body as she pulls herself close to me. I can smell the liquor in her breath as her hands take mine. She then admits that she's always found me attractive. I stood there stunned. In our months of collaboration, I was pious in my worship, never once deigning to engage romantically with her. Her desire to lower herself down to me confused me deeply. I instinctively say that we should get her home, assuming these were none more than drunken musings. She repeats herself, inching closer to me as she gives this revelation. She cups my face and surveys my appearance. She searches for reprocation in my eyes, but my visage barely hides the terror in my mind. I insist that we get her home quickly and shut the conversation until we get her to our apartment. At the complex, we attempted to drop her off at the door, assuming she'll be fine from there. But she insisted that our night wasn't over and that we must come inside from the cold. Her words were innocent, but I knew better. This is not a request. It was a command, a direct order from on high. Who was I to disobey my God? Carmen begins to play music so thunderous that I feel the walls will just come down around us. Though she lived with roommates, she cared very little for their slumbers. We were her guests, and the celebrations weren't going to end just yet. As the music plays, she advances on me. Carmen presses her body into mine, unbecoming of divinity, and gyrates sensually. I cautiously allow her to do so against my better judgment. In a state of shock, I move in tandem with her, afraid to offend her divine senses. She then turns around and restates her confession. She's attracted to me. Once again, I attempt to dismiss her, asking her to discuss these things in the morning with me. Though my terror grew, I believe she was too good to hurt me. Carmen was too good. But at these moments, the Carmen I knew was gone. That divine glimmer in her eyes was replaced by hungry, depraved lust. She pulls me towards her. As I back away, I end up pinned against the wall. Her words slither around my ear in a slow and salty timbre. During our whole friendship, I've wondered what could I have done to repay her for her kindness. All this time, she was patiently waiting to reveal the price. Desperately, I refused her advances, but despite my pleas, she eyed me like a predator, surveying my humble chest. She was a hungry god, and she needed to be fed. I soon realized she wasn't going to stop. I accepted that I was to be sacrificed and let her have her offering. I closed my eyes and I let the slaughter commence. It is now the complainant to say a few words. I swallow as I pull up my statement on my iPhone. 2 years have passed since that ugly night. Despite 2 years of showers, I still felt unclean from her touch. As I fumble around to speak, I glance up to look at Carmen on the Zoom call. I haven't seen her in many months. She idly waits for me to speak, taking sips out of her grande iced coffee. Her once discerning eyes appeared dull and listless. She hasn't been sleeping. Neither me or Carmen wanted to be in this call for different reasons. But this call is where I attempt to hold her accountable for raping me. I'm refacing Goliath, but I don't know if my stones will be enough to take her down. When the complainant is ready, they may proceed. I go on to tell Carmen how she betrayed me. As I speak, the pain pours out of me in a calm and level voice. As I detail my heartbreak with poise, I recount once again how she used my body against my will. As I speak, I glance up to look at Carmen. And for the first time, she's something small. She's human. Her haughty hair has disappeared, replaced by crocodile tears to emphasize her false sense of reserve. In the place of this divine figure, a sniveling coward stands. As I speak, each word is a physical blow to her ego, and she shrinks further with each line of my testimony. I finish my speech, waiting for her line of questioning. She declines her chance at interrogation and just flees to the restroom. The screen goes blank.